So what did Relli first do with the videos he made of the shell casings? Did he go to the police? No, he didn't contact the police. Instead, he sent them to Rocky and Rocky's manager and said, I'm going to be rich. That was his first thought. I'm going to be rich. I mean, here's someone who basically claims he was shot. That was the initial story, shot. He miraculously recovered the evidence from the crime scene that the police couldn't find. And he didn't go to the police. His first thought was, I'm going to be rich. Well, the evidence will show you that Relli committed perjury without those messages. He actually texted a message meaning, I'm going to be rich. He said, I'm going to be H at one point. But he said, oh, I didn't mean rich when I said H. I meant irritable. Okay, because H and irritable sound very close, and when you're typing H, sometimes you won't change it to irritable. It's just one lie after the other. He testified at an early hearing in this case, under oath. And you'll learn shortly after sending those messages to Rocky and to his business manager, you're going to learn that Relli sent another message to his business partner, to Relli's business partner, saying, I want to get this nigga's money. That's what was on his mind, not his near-death experience. Oh my God, how did he even survive that scrape on his knuckles? Not running to the police to arrest the culprit. No. Texting everyone, I'm going to get rich, I'm going to get his money. That's all he cared about. The evidence will show you that Relli fabricated these shell casings in order to extort Rocky, right from the outset, right from the get-go. And why did he think he could get away with that? Why? Because Relli didn't know that the police had already returned within minutes of the sounds and the incidents there and searched the scene. He didn't know that. Of course, they didn't find anything. We talked about that already. There was no actual shooting because there was no real gun. There was no evidence of a shooting because there was no real gun. And that's why that same night, in response to Relli's text to Rocky texted him, if I shot you, go to the police. They didn't show you that text though. Showed you a bunch of texts between Relli and Rocky that night. They didn't show you that text. Rocky saying, go to the police. Yeah, because someone who really shoots someone and is guilty said, yeah, go to the police. Rocky texted that night. But of course, he didn't go to the police. That was not on his mind. You'll hear what he thinks of the police, this Relli. After his immediate efforts to extort Rocky failed, because he just wanted to get rich, he wanted to get that, need his money, as he said. When it didn't work, he said, okay, you better go get a civil lawyer. After he tried on his own to get the money, let me go get a civil lawyer to try and get money out of Rocky. And you'll hear that because the civil lawyer would only take his case if he went to the police. Relli then went to the police 2 days later. 2 days after the incident, he finally goes to the police. And you'll learn of the inconsistent statements he made to the police because he couldn't keep the story straight. It is all over the place. You'll hear this ridiculous claim like the one about him being shot. You just saw that picture. The supposed proof of him being shot, the knuckle scrapes, the superficial knuckle scrapes across his knuckles, which are consistent with him doing what you see in the video, attacking somebody, attacking pills. That did not feel good, by the way. But attacking somebody and punching and scraping the knuckle on the ground. What kind of bullet does that? Hits one knuckle, bounces down, hits another knuckle, bounces down again. I mean, it's ridiculous that he said that. He got shot. That was his first story. Now you hear the back off way off that thing now. You'll hear his ridiculous claim about that injury, that it was a gunshot wound that required medical attention, he first said. Of course, now the DA just said to you, oh, you don't have to decide at the end of this case if you got shot or not. You don't have to decide. Don't worry about it. Not that easy. Not that easy. You do have to decide, because his credibility is at issue here. You have to decide if he was lying, if he was embellishing, if he was making up a story to get money. So if he says he got shot, and you find he didn't get shot, you do have to decide that. Relli at this very moment has a civil lawsuit against Rocky, seeking millions of dollars. Ready? $30 million for the knuckle scrape. $30 million. It's not my money. Not just. Oh, he also claims that he has a permanent disability. Permanent disability from the knuckle scrape. He lies about almost everything in this case. He swore that he has a permanent disability. You're going to see an Instagram video of him, that permanent disability, showing his manicured hand, turning it around with his Rolex watch on. Permanent disability. It is offensive to a different level. He even claims he went for necessary medical treatment for his injury to a hospital, but not here in LA, where he was shot. He waited to fly all the way from California to New York to go to a hospital many days later, after getting a civil lawyer and being told by the detective in this case, really, you should go to the hospital, not to make sure you're not going to die, not to make sure you don't lose use of your hand, not to make sure your knuckles heal. The detective said you should go to the hospital for this case. The detective, it's going to be undisputed, told Relli to go to the hospital for this criminal case. Do you think they're trying to build a case in? Is that what we do? We instruct victims to go to the hospital to make it look better? Those scrapes are no more proof of a real gunshot than those shell casings that the 7 officers did not find are. And what else did the police not find after Relli turned in the shell casings over to them, finally, after walking around with them God knows where for 2 days? What else did the police not find? You'll hear that the police, despite examining them for fingerprints, didn't find Rocky's on them. Because bullets, metal, capture prints. So you know, someone loads a bullet into a gun, got prints on that. Not Rocky's. Now, the shell casings apparently had no fingerprints on them whatsoever. As if someone who claimed to find them after the fact wiped them completely clean. And what else wasn't found on those shell casings? Rocky's DNA. They took samples, the police did, of Rocky's DNA for the purpose of comparison. They took his DNA to compare with the bullets. 0. Nothing. Never connected to the shell casings. As I mentioned, he was licensed to carry and possess firearms. You'll learn that he legally possessed firearms, which in fact were recovered from his home. You saw that whole bunch of pictures. He had firearms legally in his home. No problem. Police did a search, they recovered them. No problem with the police. The evidence will show you that none of those firearms recovered were 9mm caliber, because he didn't have one. You'll learn that the 9mm caliber of the shell casings that Relli claims to have recovered from the scene are exactly the type of gun that Rocky didn't possess or own. You'll hear, and you heard from their opening, that there was a single magazine containing 9mm ammunition in his home. And you'll learn that belonged to his manager, Lou Levin, who will tell you, he will be here and testify why that was his. He also was licensed. Most importantly, though, when it comes to this little issue of the bullets recovered by Relli, that didn't have Rocky's fingerprints, that the police missed, and all that stuff, and the 9mm ammunition recovered in Rocky's home that one magazine, 5 bullets or whatever. Most importantly, you're going to learn that the shell casings were completely different than the ones that Relli said he found at the scene gave to the police. Completely different. You'll learn that the 9mm ammunition in Rocky's home was a brand called Sig Sauer, and the Relli shell casings that he claims to have found at the scene, that the police missed, were a brand called Terell. I'm going to show you the difference. I'm going to show you the pictures. This is the one in the house. That's that magazine that they recovered with a few bullets in it. That was Lou Levin's. This says Sig. Whoever. I can't see nothing now, so can you zoom back a little bit? SIGSAUGER or something like that. Sour. What's this? How does it say?
Luger.
What? Luger. Sig. SIG. Sig Luger. The ones at the scene are these from Relli. FC, which stands for
Terell cartridge.
Federal Cartridge. Completely different brand, completely different bullet. Those are the ones from the house that belong to someone else who will testify here from proof. Those are the ones that Relli claims to have found at the scene. They're different bullets altogether. So much for that big reveal on the opening. They didn't show you that, though. They didn't show you the comparison of the 2 bullets. Just the magazine. Ooh, it's a 9mm. Different bullets. In the end, you'll see that all the objective evidence in this case relied on by the prosecution to support a shooting rises and falls, I mean falls, on the word and credibility of Relli, who is a proven criminal and perjurer. Those shell casings he claims to have found, the superficial scrapes he claims is a gunshot wound, the video himself that he even claims he can't make out clearly. We have to rely on his rendition of it only. Because without his rendition, you get nothing from any of this. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your job to win this trial to evaluate the evidence. To look at every single piece of evidence they present to you, the prosecution, and ask yourself, does that pass the smell test? I remember Mr. Lewin, every time he stood up in jury selection, said, possibility? Did we say possibility? No, no possibility. No possibility. The word possible is not part of this trial, he said to you. Remember that. This case is not about possible. It doesn't pass the smell test, and you have to ask yourself that. Does it? Or do you have a doubt about a piece of evidence that's really the focus here when you consider the charge in this case? There are 2 charges. The first charge is assault with a semi-automatic fire gun in this case. No, actually I said that wrong. It's an assault with a semi-automatic firearm. That's the first count. Both counts of that, actually. The first one is the altercation in front of the parking garage. The second for the altercation around the corner. 2 counts. To prove those 2 counts, they must prove beyond a reasonable doubt 2 things. 1, Rocky possessed a real gun.
No, this sounds like
Okay. The judge will give you the law. He's right. The judge will give you the law at the end of this. What needs to be proven. I'm giving you some credit. You're right.
Well, I made the objection. Does that make you right?
You were right too on that one. They won't be able to meet that burden in this case. When the judge gives you the law, you'll see the 2 things that have to be proven. It's not even close on either. The objective evidence in this case, independent of Relli, just is not there. There are no gunshot wounds, no evidence of actual gunfire as officers said at the scene, no shell casings found at the scene. When the police arrived,
This sounds again like pure argument.
evidence will show you there was no property damage, no fingerprints, no DNA linking Rocky to anything. And that's because what Rocky had was a prop gun. Either that, or he was the luckiest man to ever walk the face of this earth. What is real in this case wasn't a gun, but Relli's attempt to extort Rocky. That is real. Out of millions of dollars, and using this criminal case as a windfall in his civil one. And folks, and going back to what I first said to you, my promise, it's a promise to you. And I wouldn't be doing this so emphatically if I weren't sure.
That's all I mean, this is proper.
You will see, the evidence will show you hard evidence of an extortion in this case, and perjury to try and cover it up. Hard evidence of an extortion in this case, the evidence will show you, and perjury to try to cover it up. The evidence will show you Relli's understanding in that regard, that if Rocky's found guilty here, he automatically has liability in the civil case and gets money. Lots of money.
That's absolutely improper. The jury be
Well,
instructed.
it's understanding.
Counsel continues
Stop!
to make whatever
Stop!
objection-
No speaking objections. Stop. Disregard anything about the consequences of whether Mr. Mayers is or is not convicted in this case. The consequences have no bearing on any decision that you have to make, and you're going to be given a jury instruction to that effect.
Thank you. Anyway, it's been Relli's endgame from the start. You're going to hear some of the absolute worst things come out of his mouth when it comes to this case, this criminal case, and how much he truly cares about this case and what he was willing to do to this case for money. Ladies and gentlemen, when this case is over, you'll see that Rocky Mayers, except Rocky's innocent. He's not only not guilty, he's innocent. And when we stand up here for our closing arguments in a couple of weeks, we'll talk about how the evidence shaped up. You'll see that for Relli, it was never about justice, ever. It's about a man seeking a profit from a fabricated narrative, using false.
I didn't hear. Read back.
It's about a man seeking profit from a fabricated narrative.
It's argument.
The evidence will show you that Rocky has absolutely nothing to hide here. He's a man, evidence will show you he's a man who built success through passion, talent, and hard work. He stands in stark contrast to this fellow. You'll see Kate stand next week and lie to you over and over again, trying to destroy Rocky for his own financial gain. He's a parasite who wants you to help him get his payday. But ladies and gentlemen, at the end of this case, after all you've seen and heard, all the evidence and cross-examination, all the things I promised you today, I would ask at your hands for a verdict of not guilty for Rocky Mayers. It's the only verdict consistent with justice. It is the only verdict consistent with fairness. Thank you.
All right, folks, I want to take a 10-minute break, and I want counsel to remain in place.